You don't realize how dangerous comfort is until it's already taken everything from you. And it doesn't take it violently, quickly, or obviously. It takes it slowly, quietly, softly. Comfort doesn't break down your door and drag away your ambition. It whispers to you. It convinces you that you're fine, that you can relax, that you can do it later. It rewires your brain into believing that the easiest path is the right one, when in reality, the easiest path is always the one that leads straight to weakness. Comfort kills you by making you forget who you could have been. It steals the fire from your chest, the urgency from your heart, and the hunger from your eyes. And the moment you start choosing comfort over challenge, that's the moment your potential starts dying. You stop growing. You stop risking. You stop pushing. You stop fighting. You stop living like a warrior and start living like a spectator. And that's when life begins to move without you. Look at your daily life. How many small choices of comfort have turned into massive problems? You wake up and hit snooze. That's comfort killing your discipline. You choose scrolling over working. That's comfort killing your focus. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. That's comfort killing your future. Comfort takes the sharpest, strongest men and turns them into soft, half-asleep versions of themselves who can't even recognize their own potential anymore. And here's the real danger. Comfort feels good. It feels safe. It feels warm. And that's exactly why it destroys you. Pain wakes you up. Pressure builds you. Challenge sharpens you. But comfort is a silent poison that convinces you you're okay while it slowly drains every ounce of power from your life. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because comfort convinced them to stop trying. They fail because comfort told them they could wait. They fail because comfort whispered, just relax. You've got time. But time is the one thing you don't have. Every day spent in comfort is a day your dreams starve. Every hour wasted in comfort is an hour your discipline weakens. Every moment you choose ease over effort is a moment you choose mediocrity over greatness. That's the truth no one wants to say out loud. You're not losing because life is hard. You're losing because you've made your life too easy. Comfort takes your ambition and replaces it with excuses. You start saying things like, I'll do it when I feel ready. I'm tired. I need a break. I deserve to rest. But here's the problem with that mindset. You don't deserve rest if you haven't earned anything. You don't deserve comfort if you're living an uncomfortable reality. You don't deserve ease when your goals are suffocating under the weight of your procrastination. There was a time when men woke up hungry, driven, burning with purpose. But modern life has softened you, made you numb. You're surrounded by entertainment, convenience, pleasure, distractions. Everything is designed to keep you comfortable. Everything is designed to keep you weak. And the more comfortable your life becomes, the more uncomfortable your dreams become. Because you're not living in alignment. You're not moving like someone who wants to win. You're moving like someone who's afraid of effort. Comfort kills potential by shrinking your world. It teaches you to avoid anything that tests you. It teaches you to run from discomfort instead of running toward it. And once you start avoiding hard things, your capacity to handle life collapses. Stress feels heavier. Challenges feel impossible. Problems feel overwhelming, not because they're too big, but because you've become too soft. Greatness is not born in comfort. Confidence is not built in comfort. Strength is not forged in comfort. Every man who became something extraordinary stepped into discomfort willingly. He embraced resistance. He invited challenge. He understood that comfort makes you feel safe until the moment you realize you're trapped. If you want to resurrect your potential, the first enemy you must kill is comfort. Not because comfort is bad, but because comfort, when consumed in excess, becomes the most dangerous addiction. It turns warriors into weaklings. It turns fighters into quitters. It turns kings into servants of their own laziness. And the longer you stay comfortable, the further you drift from the man you were meant to become. Comfort is one of the most dangerous traps a human can fall into. And the reason it's so dangerous is because it never announces itself. It never warns you. It never shows up with a sign saying, I'm here to ruin your future. Comfort is subtle. It wraps around you quietly like warm water until you don't even realize you're drowning. And most people don't wake up from it until it's already too late. That's why I need you to listen closely right now, because comfort might already be killing your potential. and you don't even see it happening, think back to a time in your life when you were really hungry for something. Maybe it was a dream you had when you were younger, a version of yourself you saw so clearly you could almost touch it. You had energy, you had fight. You had this raw fire inside you that made you move without hesitation. That version of you didn't care about how tired you were or whether the circumstances were perfect. You didn't need motivation. You were driven by hunger. But now, slowly, without you noticing, comfort crept in. It replaced your hunger with softness. It replaced your urgency with tomorrow. And you accepted it. Comfort tells you that you deserve to relax. It tells you you've already done enough. It tells you life isn't that serious. But comfort lies. Comfort steals years from you without you seeing them disappear. Comfort convinces you that staying the same is safe, but what it doesn't tell you is that staying the same is the most dangerous decision you can make in a world that moves fast. The world doesn't wait for anyone. Opportunities don't wait. Time doesn't wait. Only you wait, and that waiting is eating your future alive. Look at your daily life. Comfort shows up everywhere. You wake up and the first thing you do is reach for your phone because it's easier than getting out of bed. You tell yourself 5 more minutes, and those 5 minutes turn into 10, then 20, then a whole morning wasted. You say you'll start working after breakfast, then after a short break, then after you feel more focused, and suddenly the entire day is gone. Comfort teaches you how to negotiate with your goals. It teaches you how to delay your own success. It teaches you how to accept mediocrity one tiny decision at a time, and the worst part is, you start believing that this is normal. You start believing that feeling comfortable is the same as feeling happy. But deep down, you know it's not. Deep down, there is a part of you screaming for more. There is a part of you that feels the guilt when you waste a whole day. There is a part of you that feels the disappointment when you break the promises you made to yourself. That voice is the real you. And comfort is killing that voice. You weren't built to be comfortable. Humans were designed to evolve through struggle, challenge, and pressure. Everything great you've ever admired was created by someone willing to be uncomfortable longer than everyone else. Winners understand that comfort is the enemy of progress. They understand that every time you choose comfort, you lose a piece of your potential. They understand that comfort is a drug, and the more you take it, the weaker you become. If your life feels stagnant, if you feel stuck, if you feel like you're not moving forward, I promise you, comfort is the reason. Comfort is making you soft. Comfort is making you slow. Comfort is turning you into someone you don't even respect. And the only way out is to declare war on comfort. You must learn to seek discomfort. You must learn to choose the harder road, the one that challenges you, the one that forces you to grow. Because every time you choose discomfort, you become sharper, you become stronger, you become more dangerous. And most importantly, you become the version of yourself that you were always meant to be. Laziness isn't something that just appears out of nowhere. It's not a disease you wake up with one morning. Laziness is a habit, a pattern you rehearse every single day, most of the time without even realizing it. And the more you rehearse it, the stronger it becomes, until it eventually controls your entire life. People think laziness is a feeling, but it's not. It's a routine. It's a lifestyle. It's a repeated choice that slowly becomes your default identity. And if you don't break it, it becomes the very thing that destroys your dreams. Think about how easy it is to choose laziness. It starts in the smallest ways. You wake up, and instead of getting up immediately, you roll over and grab your phone. You know the alarm rang for a reason, but you convince yourself that staying in bed for 5 more minutes is harmless. You rehearse laziness. You rehearse giving in. You rehearse losing the first battle of the day. And when you lose that first battle, the rest of your day follows the same pattern. You tell yourself you'll work out later. You'll study later. You'll start that project tomorrow. You'll focus when you feel ready. That feeling never comes. You train your mind to believe that delaying your goals is normal. You train yourself to negotiate with your own potential. You train your body to accept weakness. Laziness becomes the character you play every day, and eventually you forget it's a character. You start believing that it's who you are. But here's the truth you need to understand. Laziness isn't your personality. It's your training. And everything you've trained yourself to do, you can untrain. You can reverse it. you can rebuild yourself. But you cannot do that until you're honest about one thing. You've been practicing laziness like a skill. Every skipped task, every delayed decision, every day wasted for comfort is practice. You've sharpened your laziness. You've become good at it. Laziness grows when life feels good enough. When you're comfortable, when the bills are paid, when the pressure is low, you start letting go of the discipline that once made you sharp. You convince yourself that you deserve a break, but one break becomes two, two become 10, and soon the lifestyle you never wanted becomes the only one you know. And that's where most people destroy their own lives, not from failure, but from comfort disguised as rest. Winners understand that laziness builds like rust. It doesn't ruin you instantly. It accumulates slowly, quietly. One day you wake up and realize your motivation is gone, your confidence is gone, your hunger is gone. You look in the mirror and you don't see a weak person because you were born that way. You see a weak person because you built that weakness one choice at a time. And if you built it, you can destroy it. You must start treating laziness like an enemy that studies you. It knows your patterns. It knows when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're overwhelmed, and it attacks in those moments. Laziness whispers the easiest option, and because you crave comfort, you listen. But imagine what your life would look like if you trained the opposite way. If you rehearsed discipline the same way you've rehearsed laziness. If every time you felt tired, you pushed anyway. If every time your mind said, not now, you acted immediately. Action destroys laziness because action rewires your brain. When you take action at the moment you least wanna, you break the habit. You interrupt the pattern. You train a new identity, one that isn't controlled by feelings or excuses. That is how winners are built. Not by motivation, not by inspiration, but by consistently choosing action over comfort, repetition over hesitation, discipline over emotion. Imagine waking up every day and winning the first battle. Imagine refusing to negotiate with your goals. Imagine choosing growth even when your mind begs for rest. That's the difference between the life you have and the life you want. Laziness is a habit, but so is greatness. And the one you practice daily is the one you become. Comfort is the most dangerous drug in the world because it feels harmless. It doesn't destroy you instantly. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't scare you. It just slowly dulls the fire inside you until one day you wake up and realize that the version of yourself you were supposed to become has been quietly murdered by your own desire to stay safe. Comfort doesn't show up as an enemy. It shows up as warmth, relaxation, ease, the promise of you've done enough for today. And people fall for it every single time. Every ambitious person begins with hunger. You want to grow, you want to win, you want to change your life. In those early days, discomfort feels normal. You're willing to wake up earlier. You're willing to work harder. You're willing to sacrifice. But as soon as you see even the smallest improvement, comfort sneaks in like a thief. You start thinking that because you've made some progress, you can pull back a little, and that's where it begins. You don't notice it at first. You don't feel it. You convince yourself that taking it easy is harmless. But greatness is lost in those tiny decisions you justify to yourself. Comfort slowly builds a cage around you. And the bars of that cage aren't made of steel. They're made of your own choices. The days you skip the gym, the tasks you push to tomorrow, the opportunities you delay because you don't feel ready. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, the cage gets tighter and you don't even realize you're locking yourself inside a life you never wanted. You don't see the trap forming because comfort makes everything feel okay. That's what makes it so deadly. People who become dangerous in life are the ones who refuse to let comfort seduce them. They understand that comfort is not rest. It's regression disguised as relief. It's the enemy wearing a smile. The moment things become easy is the moment you must push harder, because if you don't, comfort begins to rot your ambition from the inside. You stop dreaming bigger. You stop thinking aggressively. You stop taking risks. You start settling for average because average feels safe. And once you settle, you forget how to fight. Comfort makes you forget who you were trying to become. It makes you forget the hunger you once had. It makes you forget the pressure that shaped you. It's like slowly falling asleep behind the wheel of your own life. And then one day you look around and realize you're stuck in the same place, living the same routine, Repeating the same excuses, pretending you'll make a change when the time is right. That time never comes. Comfort kills urgency. Without urgency, nothing in your life will ever change. The people you envy, the ones achieving everything you wish you could, are not better than you. They simply refuse to worship comfort. They refuse to settle. They refuse to let life become soft. They didn't let their success become a trap. They kept their hunger alive by constantly placing themselves in situations that forced them to grow. They sought discomfort intentionally because they understood one truth: the human mind only becomes sharp under pressure. Without struggle, without resistance, without friction, you become dull. Comfort also breeds delusion. You start believing that your potential will wait for you. You tell yourself that your dreams will still be there when you feel motivated again. You convince yourself that you can catch up later. But while you're comfortable, someone else is outworking you. Someone else is developing skills. Someone else is building discipline. Someone else is becoming the person you claim you want to be. And by the time you wake up, they're already far ahead, not because they're lucky, but because they rejected the comfort that is holding you captive. Comfort is the silent killer because it doesn't attack your body. It attacks your mindset. It convinces you that you're fine as you are. It convinces you that you can done enough. It presses you that pressure is something to avoid instead of something to embrace. And as soon as you believe that lie, your ambition dies a slow, quiet death, and you don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. There is a war happening inside you every single day, and most people don't even realize they're in a fight. There's the person you are right now, comfortable, hesitant, full of excuses, shaped by habits that make life easy. And then there's the person you could be: disciplined, sharp, explosive, someone capable of achieving things you can't even imagine right now. These two versions of you are not on the same team. They are enemies. And every decision you make decides which one of them wins. The mistake people make is thinking this transformation happens suddenly in some dramatic moment of inspiration. It doesn't. This war is fought in small, quiet moments that nobody else sees. When your alarm goes off and you debate whether to get up. When an opportunity appears and you tell yourself you're not ready. When you feel fear and retreat instead of advancing. In those tiny decisions, you choose which version of yourself grows stronger. The person you are today loves comfort, loves excuses, loves the path of least resistance. But the person you could be is forged through resistance. That version of you only emerges when you do the thing you don't want to do. The person you are today wants the reward without the sacrifice. It wants success without discipline, confidence without effort, greatness without the grind. That version of you whispers constantly in your mind, promising you an easier route. It tells you you'll succeed tomorrow. It tells you you deserve a break. It tells you that you're doing enough. But enough is the enemy of excellence. Enough is the reason dreams stay dreams. And the person you could be despises the word enough. The strongest version of you is waiting behind a wall of discomfort. And that version is angry every time you settle. Every time you choose laziness. Every time you choose distraction. Every time you choose weakness. That stronger version of you loses ground. You weaken your future self by protecting your present comfort. And most people don't see it until years go by, and they wonder why their life never changed. It's because they never chose the stronger version of themselves in the daily battles. This war inside you also determines the type of life you will live. The weaker version of you wants a predictable life, free from struggle, where nothing challenges you. But predictable lives never lead to greatness. Predictable lives never create winners. They only lead to regret, the kind that burns you from the inside because you know you had more in you, but you refuse to give it. Regret is the oldest, most painful enemy a person can face, and it always appears when the stronger version of you dies in silence. What makes this internal war so difficult is that the enemy you must defeat is familiar. It's your habits, your impulses, your fears, your doubts. You can't run from it because it lives inside you. You can only confront it. You can only overpower it through action. Every time you act despite discomfort, that stronger version of you grows. Every time you do the hard thing, even when you don't feel like it, the weaker version of you loses power. You become someone who doesn't negotiate with laziness, someone who doesn't bow to fear, someone who doesn't wait for motivation. People admire discipline in others because deep down, they know they have the same potential but refuse to activate it. They know they could be more, but they keep choosing the version of themselves that is afraid of pressure. But pressure is the birthplace of greatness. Pressure reveals who you can become. The person you could be thrives under pressure because it forces your mind to adapt, your discipline to sharpen, your ambition to rise. The truth is simple. Every day, you're either feeding the version of you that wants to win or the version that wants to remain the same. There is no middle ground. One grows stronger, one grows weaker, and every moment of hesitation, every excuse, every delay is a victory for the weaker you. But every moment of discipline, every step forward, every refusal to quit is a victory for the stronger you waiting to take control of your life. Most people think winners wake up every day overflowing with motivation, passion, energy, and unstoppable drive. They imagine the top performers of the world jump out of bed ready to attack the day with fire in their eyes. But that's a fantasy. Winners don't operate on motivation. They operate on requirement. Motivation is an emotion. Requirement is a standard. Motivation disappears the moment you feel tired, stressed, bored, or discouraged. But requirement is there whether you feel like it or not. It's a rule. It's a non-negotiable. Winners don't ask, "Do I want to do this today?" They ask, "What must be done today?" And that's the difference. You're too comfortable because you're still waiting to feel inspired before you move. You wait for the right mood, the right energy, the right timing, the right opportunity. That's why nothing changes. You're trying to use emotion to fuel a lifestyle that demands discipline. Success doesn't respond to how you feel. Success responds to what you consistently do. And the truth is, winners do the work even when every part of their body wants to stop. They show up when their mind tells them to quit. They execute not because they feel ready, but because the mission requires it. Think about the strongest people you admire. None of them became elite by doing what was comfortable. They weren't handed discipline, they built it. They created standards so high that laziness couldn't reach them anymore. They built such a powerful identity that slacking became completely incompatible with who they saw themselves as. Their routine became part of their character. And once something becomes part of your character, you don't question it. You don't negotiate with it. You just do it. Most people, though, are still living like their goals are optional. They treat their dreams like suggestions instead of obligations. They say things like, "I'll try, I hope, I'll start soon, maybe tomorrow," without realizing that every time they say that, they weaken the relationship they have with themselves. Every time you break a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you teach your mind that your word means nothing. And if you don't trust yourself, how can you expect to build anything? Winners trust themselves because they keep their own promises. They require it. This is why comfort destroys people. Comfort convinces you that you can delay your life and still somehow win. Comfort tells you that you can give 50% and get 100% reward. Comfort whispers that winners are different or lucky, so you don't have to take responsibility for becoming one. But winners aren't lucky, they're consistent. Winners aren't different, they're disciplined. They became winners because they refuse to live like everyone else who keeps waiting for motivation to save them. Requirement also means you stop measuring your effort by how you feel and start measuring it by what the mission demands. You don't go to the gym to try your best. You go because your future self requires strength. You don't work on your goals because you're in the mood. You work because your future life requires discipline. You don't improve your mindset because you're excited. You improve it because your current weaknesses require elimination. Winners see everything through the lens of requirement. Every task, every habit, every moment. And here's the truth that most people never realize. Once you start living by requirement, you stop relying on motivation altogether. You become someone who doesn't need to be inspired to move. You don't need hype. You don't need comfort. You don't need validation. You've built a system where the work happens because it must happen. You've programmed yourself to take action automatically without negotiating with your emotions. That's the moment you stop living like everyone else and start living like a winner. Winners aren't superhuman. They're simply people who refuse to operate at the level of their feelings. They operate at the level of their standards. And every time you raise your standards, your life rises with it. At the end of the day, your life is nothing more than a reflection of the standards you choose to accept. If you are living a comfortable, slow, lazy, uninspired existence, it's because you chose it. If your goals feel far away, if your confidence is weak, if your discipline is fragile, it's because you allowed the softer version of yourself to win those daily battles. And the truth hurts because the truth is simple. Nobody is coming to save you from the life you created. This entire message isn't about judging you. It's about waking you up. You are too comfortable, too distracted, too willing to settle. But inside you, there is a version of yourself that is starving to come out. A version that doesn't negotiate with laziness. A version that doesn't let fear make decisions. A version that doesn't look for motivation because it lives by requirement, by duty, by self-command. That version of you is waiting behind discomfort, behind resistance, behind pressure. And the moment you decide to stop protecting your comfort and start protecting your future, everything in your life will begin to change. You have to understand something: winners aren't chosen. Winners are built through daily discipline, built through sacrifice, built through the willingness to do the hard things when nobody's watching, built through the refusal to tolerate weakness in themselves. You want to kill laziness. Start acting like your future depends on it, because it does. You want to escape mediocrity. Stop living like mediocrity is acceptable. You want to transform. Then declare war on the old version of you and never let him win another day. Every step forward you take, no matter how small, weakens the weaker you. Every decision rooted in discipline strengthens the winner inside you. And if you want a different life, a richer life, a stronger life, a more powerful life, then you must earn it. You must fight for it. You must become the kind of person who doesn't ask life for success, but demands it through action. You're too comfortable now, but you don't have to stay that way. You can rise, you can evolve, you can build a life that makes the old version of you unrecognizable. But it all starts when you stop waiting, stop wishing, and start requiring more from yourself. Because at the end of everything, the truth is simple. You become a winner the moment you stop living like anything else.